Have you ever stopped to think about what's actually running behind the scenes of, well, everything? There's this invisible engine that powers our entire digital lives, from a simple Google search to literal missions to Mars. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that engine. We're talking about Linux. Let's get into it. So, what is this thing? This invisible force that's so powerful, but you almost never see it. It's not something you can just go buy in a box store, but let me tell you, without it, the internet as we know it would just stop. Okay, get a load of this number. 96.3%. That is the percentage of the world's top 1 million web servers running on Linux. Think about that. Almost every single website you visit, every online service you use, it's all being handed to you by a Linux server. That's just staggering. And then there's this. 100%. Every single one of the world's top 500 supercomputers. You know, the machines tackling the biggest problems on the planet, from climate change to disease research, they all run on Linux. Not 99%, all of them. But it's not just in some faraway data center. It's probably in your pocket as we speak. Over 5 billion active Android devices are all built on top of the Linux kernel. So yeah, every time you're scrolling on your Android phone, you are using Linux. And if you're still not convinced, just look at this list for a second. We're talking about Google's entire search and cloud empire, the servers that stream Netflix to your screen. And it gets even more serious. It runs on things where failure is just not an option, like US nuclear subs and the International Space Station. Linux isn't just everywhere. It's the very definition of critical infrastructure. So okay, if Linux is this unbelievably powerful engine, how do we talk to it? How do we actually give it instructions? Well, you have to learn its language. Now, most of us are used to this, the graphical user interface, or GUI. You know, you point, you click, you drag icons around. It's visual, it's pretty intuitive. But there's another way, a more direct way, the command line interface, or CLI. This is where you actually talk to the computer with text. It's less about pointing and more about telling. And in the world of Linux, this is where the real power is. The command line is your direct hotline to the operating system's brain. It just strips away all the shiny graphics and lets you give precise, powerful instructions. This is exactly how the pros, the system admins, the developers, the scientists, manage all those millions of servers and supercomputers we were just talking about. You know, learning the command line is a lot like learning a new language. You have to start with the basics, right? Simple words to help you figure out where you are and what's going on. So let's learn our first few words. Imagine you just opened the command line for the first time. You're just there, in a black box with a blinking cursor. The very first, most human question you're going to ask is, okay, where the heck am I? And the answer is this simple 3-letter command, pwd. It stands for Print Working Directory, and it does exactly what it says. It tells you your current location, your path, inside the computer's massive filing cabinet. It's literally your digital "you are here" sign on the map. Okay, great. So you know where you are. The next logical question is, what's around me? What files, what folders are in this spot with me? For that, you use another super simple command, ls. It just means list. You type ls, hit enter, and it shows you everything in your current directory. It's like looking around the room you're standing in to see what's what. So these 5 commands right here, these are your foundational vocabulary. We've seen ls to list stuff and pwd to find out where you are. Then you've got cd to change directory and move around, mkr to make a directory or a new folder, and touch to create a brand new empty file. With just these few words, you can get around and start building things. Pretty cool, right? All right, so if those commands are the words, the vocabulary, then it's time to learn a little bit of the grammar. And in Linux, the grammar is all about permissions. It's a set of rules that decides who gets to do what. Every single file, every single folder in Linux has these rules attached to it, and they control 3 basic actions. Can you read it, like see what's inside? Can you write to it or change it? And can you execute it, which means run it like a program? Read, write, execute. That's the core of it. And these permissions, read, write, and execute, they get assigned to 3 different kinds of people. First, you've got the owner. That's usually the person who created the file, you. Then there's the group, which is a specific team of users that you can define. And finally, you have others, which is, basically everyone else. This system gives you amazing fine-grained control over who touches your stuff. So how do you change these rules? two key commands. CHMO, which is change mode, changes what people can do. CHOWN, or change owner, changes who owns the file. The easiest way to think about it is this. CHMO sets the rules of the house, like no shoes on the carpet. CHOWN, on the other hand, decides who gets a key to the house in the first place. You need both to keep things secure. Okay, we've got some words, we've got some grammar. Let's put it all together. Let's see how these simple little commands can stack up to actually create something real, right now. Just watch how this flows. First, mkdir my project. Boom, we just made a folder, a home for our project. Step 2, touch my project/script.sh. Now we've created an empty file inside that new folder. And finally, step 3, chmod u+x and the file name. We just changed the rules to make that file executable for the user. Look at that. In 3 simple lines, we've built a space, created an object, and defined the rules for it. And just like that, you've done it. You've taken your first real steps. These commands aren't just a bunch of random letters. They are the absolute fundamental building blocks for talking to the engine that runs our whole world. You've actually started to learn its language. And honestly, this is just the very, very beginning. Every complicated script, every automated server, every piece of amazing software running on Linux, it all starts with these same basic commands. So the only question left is, now that you have the tools to talk directly to this engine, what are you going to build?